Hello, Kindred Spirits, and welcome back to Bits and Bob's Divination. My name is Caitlin, and today we are seeking out what kind of rebel you are at heart and where it is leading you to. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Alright, so welcome back, my beautiful kindred spirits and quiet rebels here today. We are going to be doing a really interesting deep dive kind of reading here to look into the kind of rebellion that is starting within you, right? There's lots of different types of ways in which we rebel. Sometimes we are rebelling against a system or oppression. Sometimes we are rebelling against ourselves and the ways in which we are always moving through the world and putting on a new perspective or a new way in which we want to show up. Or sometimes it's rebelling against forces that are unknown to us that we wish to control or to move through as we heal and grow. So there's lots of ways that we're going to be looking through this, and we're playing around with the Quiet Rebel Oracle, which is where I got this idea from. It's totally not sponsored. I just really am enjoying this new deck, and I wanted to come in with a bang, especially during Pride Month, because rebellion is perfect for this, Pride. So before we start getting into the piles, though, on the idea and mention of Pride, if you want to rebel a little bit more in your life, or to rebel with loved ones in your life in which you wish to support, then feel free to check out the hand crochet earrings that I create for you to show off your colors, to spark conversations with others, and to better represent and embrace yourself and those around you with pride. So if you want to check those out, feel free to check out all the information on those down below through my Instagram. As a queer creator and queer artist, I would love to be able to create these for you. I think they're really great conversational starters, and they've actually helped create conversations in my own life. So if that's something that you are interested in, if that's something you'd like to wear, or you want to just support another queer creator or a person in your life who is within the community, then feel free to check that all out down below to receive your own. But we're going to go ahead and look at the piles here. So as always, we have 3 different piles here for you to choose from. And each of these toppers may give you a bit of a spark as to which pile is calling out to you. Here for pile number 1, we have this piece of red tiger's eye. So if you're feeling this one, that is pile number 1. Here for pile number 2, if you're feeling called to this one, it is a piece of red Jasper, so smooth, red, and clay-like. So if you're feeling this one, that's pile number 2. And last but not least here for pile number 3, there's this piece of orange Carnelian with these little crackles. So if you're feeling the crackly Carnelian, then that is pile number 3. But before you start heading off to the timestamps, as always, I like to invite you to take a deep and cleansing breath here with me in just a moment, so you can connect with the cards, connect with the decks, and also to call in your own guides and to connect with your own intuition if you'd like to. So let's go ahead and take a deep breath together here now. And there are no rules to this. You can choose all 3 of the piles. You can choose a pile and take bits and pieces from it. You can watch through them all just for fun. There really are no rules. So all of the timestamps are down below in the description alongside the chapter marks of this video for your convenience. And like I said, if you want to wear your colors with pride or to open really supportive and useful conversations around rebellion and pride, then feel free to check out the rainbow crochet earrings that I hand crochet for you all. So with that all said, I'm going to go ahead and close off this intro, and we're going to get started here with pile number 1. Hello group 1, if you've decided to choose this red tiger's eye, then this is the pile for you as we begin to explore how you are a quiet rebel in your life, or ways in which you are quietly and more on the inside rebelling against certain things that are happening within your life, whether those are challenges, whether those are societal things, or whether those are very personal ways in which you're healing and growing as a person. This could go many different ways, but we're going to be doing that with the charms, the rebel charms today, and we're also going to be playing around with the threadbound oracle, as I want to play around with more queer decks this month. And of course, the main cards today are of the Quiet Rebel Oracle, which I I'm excited for one that we're doing an entirely oracle-based reading today, but also because I've had this deck in my possession for a few weeks now, and I just kept waiting and waiting for the perfect opportunity to do a video, and today just felt right. There was something about it that felt right. So hopefully these really stick with you, and we're gonna really deep dive into your specific card versus trying to do a really big overarching reading. Instead, we're gonna dive deep into a specific topic. So I hope you all enjoy that here with me today, especially since I'm new to this deck. I think it's really fun because we get to learn and, play around with our intuition together as we dive in. So feel free to get yourself cozy, settled, and comfy. We're going to pull the cards first, and then we will read from the guidebook and see how it's connecting with the other cards. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Feel free to send your energy into the deck, and let's pull a Quiet Rebel Oracle card for you. So, Group 1, how are you quietly rebelling against or for something in your life? Ooh, you got the rebel yell. This is such a big, powerhouse of a card. This one has a lot to do, more to do with society and battling norms, battling more external forces that are encroaching on your space, your autonomy, your freedom, your rights, things like that. And the word that you got with this one is truth-telling. So I'll hold it up here so you can have a little look. I really love looking in the backgrounds of these cards because they have so many layered, collage meanings inside here. So feel free to see what really sparks for you. Maybe it's the radio, maybe it's the megaphone, maybe it's the people in the background or the roses, who knows. But see if anything sparks for you. But we are going to pull a couple more cards just to get some context, and then we will read from the guidebook and see where this is going. So let's get some more context here around the Rebel Yell. You have the Train and the Antagonist. Nice. This makes a lot of sense, having the antagonist showing up with the rebel yell, because it says here opposition. I can't ever say that word, but opposition, deceit, and malice. And it makes sense, right? The antagonist of a story is the person that you're rebel yelling against. Sometimes it's ourselves, and sometimes it's something outside of ourselves. And in this case, it really feels like it's probably something external, not something that you're rebelling against within you, although there can sometimes be where we're rewriting our own story or rewriting narratives around our identity and how we look at ourselves, which may be you. But you also got the Train, and it says transition. Oh my gosh, I can't say words with cision in it. Transition, travel, and liminal space. And makes a lot of sense. This is usually when you are in transit, right? You're between two places or between multiple places that you don't even know exactly where you're headed, but you're on the ride anyway. So we're going to see how this comes in by reading in the guidebook. So I'm going to hold this up so you can see if you want to go ahead and read on your own. But what I like about this is it has a nice little condensed version, and then we get a declaration of defiance, which is going to be a really nice affirmation that you can take with you, and also a truth bomb, which is a really nice place to, lift yourself off of and maybe journal or write, or just as a good prompt for you moving forward. So we're going to go ahead and read and see what it says. So let me go ahead and pull this up here for you. And it says here, Rebel Yell, Truth Telling. Speaking your truth is a courageous act of self-liberation. This card encourages you to voice what lies in your heart, even if it disrupts the status quo. By owning your truth, you give yourself permission to live authentically and unapologetically. Sometimes truth-telling can shake the foundations, challenging others' expectations, yet your honesty is a gift to yourself and the world, setting you free from pretenses. Embrace the power of transparency and trust that your voice matters. Let your words ring out as a declaration of who you are, unrestrained by fear or doubt. So the declaration of defiance here: I speak my truth boldly and unapologetically, knowing that my voice is my strength and freedom. And then a prompt for the truth bomb: what truths am I holding back, and how can I express them in a way that honors my authenticity? So to me, it really feels like the ways in which you could be rebelling in your own life. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and zoom you in so you can see a little bit closer here. But the way in which you are rebelling is you maybe are going through a personal transition, maybe with your identity, or maybe in the way in which you view the world, that is different from those around you, or is in some way an act of rebellion compared to the ways other people perceive the world, right? You don't really match up. There's definitely a dissonance there. And in doing so, that also creates an antagonist. It creates someone in your life which is not on the same train as you, or they are on the same train, but you're seeing different points of view, right? One person is looking out one window and the other person is looking out the other. And yes, you're going in the same direction, but at the same time, you're not seeing the same point of view. And thus your view of this transition, your view of the journey is very different, and is very skewed in comparison to theirs. So even though you may be going in the same direction with someone in your life right now, maybe it is a spouse, maybe it's someone which you have a family member with, maybe it is a close friend, but even though you guys are technically going in the same direction, you're seeing something from very different points of view based off of your background, based off of your personal journey that has, skewed each other's perception in different directions. And so right now I feel like there is something where there maybe is an honest conversation needed with that truth telling, where maybe there's an honest conversation that is needed, a sit down, a chat to try to get on the same, to make sure you both are on the same train, you're going in the same direction, but knowing that the journey is different, and that's okay. That you can have someone who's opposed to you, that has a different point of view to you, but is trying to find common ground, trying to find where you are still going in the same direction and where you aren't. And that's okay. But there's definitely that act of rebellion that comes more on, like I said, like an external point of view. Like there's something that's happening on an external sort of force in your life that is causing you to need to raise your voice, to tell your truth, to tell your experience, so that they may better understand you, and also so that they can also better so that you can also better understand them. So there really is a dialogue needed. There's a conversation needed. There is a more community building versus pushing apart, versus trying to create enemies with other people, versus just, not just yelling at someone, but trying to find not only common ground, but a common understanding, even if you don't stand on the same place, or you're not going in the same direction, you're not seeing things the same way, doesn't mean that we can't still respect one another and try to find a common understanding. So there's something going on there for you guys. That's definitely the message, that you guys definitely need a heart-to-heart with someone, or if it isn't someone, then in general, there's a transition that you're going through where there's a bigger societal thing that's happening in which you are really rebelling against and making your voice known, your truth known, your experience, your point of view, especially as it continues to transition. So I'm going to go ahead and pull you some rebel charms and see what you guys get for some last little details, and then we will finish off your reading. So feel free to have a little conversation with the charms as always, and I'll pull some for you. Interesting, one on each of the cards. Okay, so you have over here on the antagonist the letter K. It was upside down, so it could be, again, that same feeling of like not being on the same wavelength with them, but you did get the letter K. Sometimes I see the letter K also as meaning like things are going to be okay, or it's going to eventually work out or work itself out, but there is action needed in order to get there. which makes sense with everything we've talked about. When it comes to your liminal space, your journey, your transition that's happening here in your identity or your point of view, you got the dark matter charm, which is really interesting because dark matter or dark energy in the universe makes up most of the universe, and yet we don't know what it is. We don't know how it works, we don't know how it functions, and yet it's all around us. And so this talks about things that are unknown in our lives, things that we don't understand, things that are confusing, but we still are trying to learn. We are still making an effort to understand the things that are unknown, or the things that surround us and yet we aren't adept in. So again, getting on the same plane or wavelength with someone because they have a different point of view, finding common ground and common understanding with another person can be really important, so that you don't have these many unknowns, that you're not filling in the blanks for how someone feels or how someone is going to respond to something because you don't know how it works, or how their brain works, or how their experience has been, how their journey has gone. Rather, ask them, find that truth. So that's showing up here on the train. And then lastly here, you got the no cash value charm, which I think is really interesting because this one usually talks about something that doesn't have value, or that we have like doubts about it. It also can talk about having literal no cash or not being related to finances. So this could be giving you some clues that this isn't related to something financial or something around career or a job. But this also could be talking about too that, like, it's funny that it fell like on them, that maybe you are feeling like your voice doesn't matter, your perspective doesn't matter in comparison to the antagonist of the story, right? So like if you're watching a movie, right, the villain can take up a lot of space, but that doesn't mean just because they're yelling louder or they're causing more chaos, or they're, in this case, having a very different point of view that is much louder and bolder and brighter or more known, doesn't mean that your voice doesn't matter, your truth doesn't matter, or doesn't have value to the conversation. So overall, those are all of the charms and cards that I have here for you, Group 1. I hope that you enjoyed this and are excited about this new deck. I would love to use it more, and if you have particular readings that you'd like me to use it for, or more deep dives like these, do let me know in the comments down below what you think. And also, if you're interested in these pick a card readings, I put them out every single Monday, and I also put out some educational videos that I like to sprinkle in when I get the time. So definitely feel free to subscribe if you haven't already, and join this community. It'd be really lovely to have you guys here. And if you're interested in rebelling a little bit more and you'd like to rebel for Pride Month, then feel free to check out the Rainbow Pride earrings that I create, where you can get them in your specific custom flag colors, or you can even get them in the rainbow to support and rebel against the antagonists in a queer person's life around you. So feel free to check those out. I hand crochet each of them, and I put so much time, consideration, care, and love into each of these that I make, and it's one of my favorites to do. So definitely feel free to check those out for Pride Month. And with that all said, I'm going to go ahead and close off your reading. Thank you so much for being here with me, Quiet Rebel, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye. Hello, Group 2. If you decide to choose this piece of red Jasper, then this is the pile for you, where we are going to be seeing how you are a quiet rebel in your life, right? How you are rebelling against systems, or rebelling against particular ways in which you're moving throughout the world that maybe you want to change or shift or transition through, or even if you just want to seek out new paths to explore or to better understand your world around you, then we are going to be doing that with the Quiet Rebel Oracle today, as well as the Rebel Charms and the Threadbound Oracle, continuing with some queer creator decks. Definitely check this one out. I love this one. But I recently got this deck in a giveaway, and it's one that I'd been having my eye on for a while. And once I got it, I was so excited about it, and then it just sort of sat, and I don't really know why. Usually that doesn't happen for me. So I think that it was just that I was waiting for this particular moment where it like called to me again. And I'm just really excited to bring it to you guys now. So we're going to be pulling one card for you guys today and doing a deep dive with the guidebook. And then we're also going to have a couple of other oracle cards next to them and some charms to get some further details and context around how you are maybe rebelling in your life in many different ways and facets. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Feel free to get yourself cozy, settled, and comfy for this. And I will pull a card for you. So here we go. Group 2. What ways are you rebelling in your life, both quietly, loudly, boldly, or courageously? How are you rebelling in your life? Group 2. Ooh, the Queen Bee card. Such a pretty one. With the word authority. I'm going to go ahead and hold it up so you guys can really have a little look. I really love and appreciate the collage element of these cards. I feel like there is so much that you can, really look and dive into with the writing in the background, with the honey jar that they're standing on, with the figure, the pose. There's so much that we can read into. So feel free to have a little look here, see what's really calling out to you. And we will pull a couple other cards as well to go alongside it. But yeah, authority, the Queen Bee. Makes a lot of sense, right? Queen Bee of the hive. Let's see what context we have around this Queen Bee. Ooh. And also another one here as well. So you've got both the song and the ritual. The song is really interesting because bees really speak with their wings and the way that they flutter, how fast or slow, for different warning signals and ways in which they communicate around the hive. And the word that we have for this particular card for the song, or the words rather, are heart, harmony, and messages. Messages really coming forward. And then you also have the ritual over here as well coming forward. This one came out very fast and boldly with magic, power, and action. I'm really feeling like the third word for each of these with messages and action and authority. Feels like there is some bold action needed here. There are messages. There is almost a signal that you need to let spring forth and be heard. So let's go ahead and read in the guidebook and see if we get some more information to kind of link these together. All right, so I'll go ahead and hold this out for you in case you want to have a little read through of your own. What I like about this is that we have a bit of a description, we have a keyword, we have a prompt with a truth bomb that you can use for journal prompting, and you also have a declaration of defiance, which I think is great to write in a planner or put on a mirror or whatever you want, where you just can put it out there and reread it later to kind of bring that rebellion into your life. And rebellion doesn't necessarily have to be in a more negative sense, but rather in a powerful sense. So let's go ahead and read this together. So I'm going to zoom you in so you can have a little look while I read. But it says, Queen Bee authority. Claiming your authority means stepping confidently into your own power. This card reminds you that you are the ultimate ruler of your life, deserving respect and recognition for the journey you've walked. As the queen of your domain, your influence and presence carry weight. Use them with responsibility and kindness. Trust your intuition and decisions, knowing you've earned this position. Lead with grace, setting boundaries and making choices that align with your values. Embrace your inner authority without hesitation, allowing it to guide your steps with confidence. You are capable, powerful, and worthy of the throne you occupy. Declaration of defiance. I claim my rightful authority and lead my life with grace, confidence, and integrity. Truth bomb. What aspects of my life call for me to step into my power and claim my authority? And for you, I suppose some of the aspects that are coming forward for you are the song and the ritual, because it seems like there's an action and a message to this that's coming forward where you could step into your authority more. When I first saw this card, I was thinking of it almost in a more typical leadership way, like leading young ones in your life, or maybe you are a leader in a corporate sense, or maybe it's something to do with money or finances or career. But taking all of those layers away, I really like how the rebellion starts from within, with how you view yourself, and not only in a confidence way, but also in a that you are allowed to wield your own power, that you are allowed to declare what you need, to declare the boundaries you need, the needs that you have to be met, how you wish to walk through the world, that you are allowed to sit on that throne, right? And so maybe there is an interesting situation here where you are working on putting that message out there, not only for others to respect you, but also to respect yourself. And I think that sometimes that's the hardest part, is that maybe there are people around you who are respecting you, who do respect your boundaries, who are making sure that your needs are met, but sometimes you don't ask for the things that you need, or you don't take those actions to respect yourself in those ways, or to claim your authority, or to put your foot down when you're needed. That maybe you're quiet, or you're shy, or you're not as confident, or you're feeling vulnerable or insecure, and all of those things are okay to feel. But I do think that you are currently in a situation where you are rebelling against this old shell that you've been in, where you are the worker bee, and you're kind of emerging into a queen bee, right? You're not letting other people steer your life, you're steering it now. And I really feel that with the song, with that feeling again, like I feel like people are holding you. I do feel like people are there for you. I don't think that this is something that's happening on an external level, but rather something that you are working on daily, with the rituals in your life, to better put yourself in a place of authority, better put yourself first, and to not kind of put yourself down or doubt yourself constantly, or sort of go through sort of self-deprecating language, but rather trying to lift yourself up, trying to believe other people when they want to respect you, when they want to care for you, and believe them when they see the value of you in their lives. Because I think sometimes that you maybe don't appreciate the value you bring, not only to other people's lives around you, but the value that you have just walking this earth as your own person, and with your own point of view and your own perspective on the world. So I really, really like what you have, this little group here. It really feels like you're going through quite an empowering stage in your life, in which you are wanting to wield this authority, or stepping into this authority in general. Maybe some of you are quite a lot younger, and thus, you're still learning about and finding confidence in who you are. But it's never too late to want to step into your authority. And there are times in which we feel very confident, and there are times when there are things that have happened in our journey that, lower our confidence. And maybe you've recently gone through that, and you're healing through that, healing through those perspectives, maybe healing through situations where people didn't respect you, or you didn't feel respected or heard or valued in a space. But maybe now you are stepping into one, or creating one that better aligns with who you are, the boundaries you have, the needs that you need met. And that comes with an everyday ritual in which you are putting action and time to, that you're not letting yourself slip through the cracks. So I really, really like that this is coming forward, that this queen bee feels so supported, right? It's not just that you're a leader and everyone, like in a hive sense, would just do as, they're mindless drones and they do as you say, but rather that there's a support, there's a system, there's a hive nature here where everyone's supporting everyone, and you are at the center of it. And you're putting yourself first more, and I think that's really wonderful. So that's your act of rebellion, authority, putting yourself first, working through any past healing that you need in regards to your boundaries, your needs being met, being respected, but also respecting yourself. And I love that that's coming forward. So let's go ahead and pull some charms to finish off your reading and see if there is anything else in which they wish to say. So feel free to have a little conversation with them, and we'll pull some here for you. Okay. very interesting. You have one charm flying all the way over here, and it's the charm of intellect. And it's really interesting because it fell, it's also a key, but it's the intellectual key, and it fell next to the heart of the song, but very far away, almost like it was trying to say that you need to speak more from your heart and not try to like overthink it or try to put yourself down through some sort of illogical sense, nonsensical way in which that sometimes we can spiral through things. And so the key to trying to open up this harmony, to open up these messages from the heart from other people, is also to, like I said, believe them. There's a truth to this. There's a trust fall in this, but also to start to believe it within, right? Not just looking for validation from others, but also validating yourself. Is a huge part of that too. So you have that over here by the song. You also have the good luck charm too, with the little what are these called? Ladybugs. You have a little ladybug showing up here with good luck. So this path that you're on is a very lucky one, or a serendipitous one, maybe specifically with the people in which you are connecting with. You also got the Fool energy, which I think is really interesting because you got the juggler, or I always think of it as the Fool. It also makes me think of what's it called? The Joker in like a playing card deck. And this fell over here, like away from the queen bee, almost on the bees, like I was talking about, like the worker bees. So it also makes me think again that they're not mindless drones. They're not just people around you just telling you and feeding you what you want to hear. By asking for what you need and by respecting yourself enough to do so, it just shows that they want to respect you more, and also see how you are respecting them too by doing so. So there's like this mutual respect happening here that's really nice. And then you also have over here on the ritual, the missing piece charm. So this is really interesting. So maybe the message you most need here is about the ritual and the idea of making sure to implement this authority and respect towards yourself every single day, not putting yourself down, trying to use affirmations, maybe doing a bit of journaling and self-reflection and introspection on how you've been perceiving yourself, but also how you talk to yourself, right? Our mental landscape, and making sure to make changes daily there, even if they're small little ones, right? Just complimenting yourself or not putting yourself down when you could have, and finding small ways in which you can slowly over time build that confidence, but also to build that trust in yourself and that respect with yourself as you move forward. So overall, those are all of the charms and cards that I have here for you, group 2. I hope that you enjoyed this reading and got something out of it. I really enjoyed playing around with this new deck, and if you did too, let me know in the comments down below. And if you have particular readings you'd like to see it in the future, let me know, as I'm really enjoying it. And if you enjoy these pick a card readings and you'd like to see more of them, I put them out every Monday, so definitely feel free to subscribe if that's something you're interested in. I also put out some other educational videos from time to time that you might really enjoy on art magic and charm casting. And if you want to rebel even more here for Pride Month, I hand crochet these really beautiful earrings that are a way for you to show your pride this season, or to support someone in their pride this season. So if you're interested in those, definitely feel free to check out all the information on them down below. I put a lot of love, care, and time into each of these to make sure that they match your colors or your flag, or are as personalized as possible to you. So feel free to check that all out down below. But thank you so much for being here with me today, and I hope to see you, Quiet Rebel, in the next one. Bye. Hello, group 3. If you decide to choose this piece of Carnelian, then this is the pile for you, as we are going to be exploring how you are a quiet rebel in your life, in ways in which you are rebelling against a system, rebelling against yourself, whether those are particular habits or rituals in which you found yourself stuck in and you want to rebel or find freedom from those, or if you're moving through a place of healing, right? This could go a lot of different ways, but we're going to be playing around with the charms, the rebel charms today, as well as it is Pride Month. I wanted to use the Threadbound Oracle here again to get some more context as we move through this, but another another wonderful queer created deck, so feel free to check this one out. But the deck that I wanted to pull out for you guys today is specifically the Quiet Rebel, and that's of course the reason why we are doing this today. So we're going to really dive deep into one particular card here and do more of a deep dive versus a big overarching theme with lots of different angles and cards. So we're going to really dive deep. We're going to get the guidebook out. We're going to get some more context, and we're going to play here together because this is a pretty new deck to me, and it's one in which I hope you guys really enjoy here with me. So, as always, feel free to get yourself cozy and settled and comfy for this. Feel free to send your own energy in through time and space, and we will see what you guys get. So, how are you, Group 3, rebelling in your life, and what are you rebelling against or for? So, Group 3, ooh! You got Dance in the Rain. I love this card. It is actually, I do deck interviews when I get a new deck, and this is actually the card that the deck introduced itself as. So I really love that you got this one. It's one of my favorite cards in the deck. It's just such a joyful card, of course, with the word being joy. But yeah, Dance in the Rain. And then you also are going to get a couple other cards to get some context, so feel free to connect with this deck as well. So let's get some context around this joyful rebellion in which you are partaking in. So you have the library and family. Interesting. It feels like some sort of history around family or something that's going on around family right now, with the library meaning knowledge, resources, and history. And a spiral as well. Feels like a towering presence in your path. And also you have family here. So it could be that it could go many different ways, right? Some of us feel like family is unsupportive, and some of us feel like family is a wonderful, great support. It all depends on your history with them, your experience with them, the library in which tells all. But yeah, you have kinship, belonging, and collaboration showing up here for family. So it's usually a pretty positive card in this deck. And it does not have to speak to your birth family or to your blood related family, but it can relate to a deep community that you are in, or deep friendships that you've built, or chosen family that you have. So let's go ahead and look at Dance in the Rain. So we're going to be pulling the guidebook out for this one. I'll also zoom you in so you can see a little bit closer. This is the guidebook here, so feel free to pause if you'd like to, but we're going to read through all of it. What I like about this is it does talk about a keyword here, a whole message here for you to read, but also I like that the deck also gives us a sort of affirmation to go and write down in a planner or to declare into our lives, as well as a truth bomb, which is a really great prompt for you to write or ponder on, which we'll be pondering on as well. So, here we go. Dance in the Rain. Joy. Joy can be found even in life's darkest storms. This card reminds you to embrace happiness and positivity despite adversity, choosing to dance in the rain rather than wait for the sunshine. Resilience often lies in finding delight amid challenges, defying cynicism and celebrating life in its rawest moments. When things feel heavy, allow yourself to have joy be an act of rebellion. It is a choice to find beauty in the chaos and let go of what you cannot control. Savor each moment of joy as a testament to your spirit's strength. For even the rain, there is grace. Declaration of Defiance. I choose joy, knowing that happiness is my strength. And Truth Bomb. In what ways can I find joy in my current circumstances? And how can I celebrate life even in its challenges? So I'm going to read that last one again. In what ways can you find joy in your current circumstances, surrounding family, surrounding a personal history with them, surrounding knowledge that maybe that's recently come to light around family or kinship? Right, so in what ways can you find joy in your current circumstances, and how can you celebrate life even amidst its challenges? So for you, I really feel like there's something going on that isn't particularly related maybe to you personally. It could be, but it feels like it's something that's happening outside of you, kind of outside of your control. Kind of makes me think of like bigger things that are happening within families that like shake up a deep foundation. Like I said, this felt like the Tower card, so it almost feels like we're shaking up a foundation, shaking up a sort of hard truth in your life, and something new has come to light. So it makes me think of like possible big divorces that are happening, or big changes in the family, like it could even be something that's joyful, but it could be something that's very difficult, or a new challenge, right? Like a new family member coming in, or a marriage, or a close friend that is leaving or moving, right? There's some really big shift in a foundation surrounding family, kinship, friendship, that is causing this storm to kind of overlay everything in your life, making it more difficult for you to maybe focus on things, more difficult for you to find joy in things, feeling almost restrained or held back in some way, maybe because you have to hold in secrets or withhold information from other family members. It could also be secrets and knowledge that you know that you can't share with family, that you aren't able to do so. Whatever the context is, as I'm sure you probably know by now what it is, that storm is overlaying your life, that secrecy or that feeling of ominous nature coming in. And despite it, you're still finding joy. I think that's where the rebellion is for you, is to seek out joy amidst the rain. It's not to seek out the rainbow after the rain, right? Because that's a nice healing way of moving through things. But when you're in the thick of it, right, to find family that you can lean on, people that you can still talk to, by finding strength within yourself as well, understanding resilience as well. What did it say about resilience in here? Let me look. Here it is. Resilience often lies in finding delight amidst challenges. So, defying cynicism by celebrating life in its rawest moments. Even though things feel heavy, joy can be your act of rebellion. So it really feels like for me, when I'm looking at this, that there's also a like type of humor that maybe is needed in this as well. Not letting things be so deep and dark and serious, but being playful and joyful and silly and humorous. And maybe it's that type of humor that only makes sense when you're in the deep depths of things. Like that type of dark humor that only the people who are in the situation would best understand. But it still kind of forms bridges for you guys to better understand each other through a sense of humor, through joy. And also, just because this is happening doesn't mean you're not allowed to feel joy, that you're not allowed to enjoy the success in your life, or allowed to have fun or be playful or be silly, not take things so seriously. Even though there is this ominous cloud, it doesn't mean that things have to be so dark and dreary and serious. Right? You're allowed to giggle, you're allowed to laugh, you're allowed to just watch a YouTube video and relax, right? Whatever it may be, I think that that's really important, and an important act of rebellion in your life right now, to rebel against the storm, but also to accept that the storm is there and still find ways in which to look for joy in those moments. So I want to pull a couple of charms for you guys to finish off your reading. Do feel free to have a little conversation with them, with the rebel charms, to seek out the truth in which they hold. So feel free to have a little conversation, and I'll pull some for you. Okay, so what you got here is really interesting because I didn't really talk much about this like rainbow umbrella, but it does make me think of like the rainbow at the end of the storm. But the rainbow also exists within the storm. It only just needs sunshine for us to be able to see it, right? For it to come to light. So you have to be the sunshine. You have to shine the sun from within to find the rainbow. But the other thing that I thought of too is like there's beauty in the storm, because you did get the the swan, and I always think of the swan as beauty, but not just like external beauty, but beauty from within. So again, it's making me think too that for this rainbow, for this joy to come forward, you have to, seek out that joy from the inside versus trying to wait for the rainbow to come, wait for the storm to pass, that you're allowed to find it within the storm. You also have the insecurity charm, because it's like a little bent, security charm. And what I think is really interesting is it fell on like the corset, which earlier I was talking about restrictions or feeling like secrecy or having to withhold a secret. So maybe that's where you're feeling maybe a bit insecure or feeling like less confident because you're having to withhold something or hold something in or hold a breath in some way. So that's something to also be aware of when moving through your situation, that it's either related to that, or this insecurity may be related to, or the storm may be related to something around beauty and insecurity and a lack of confidence there. And if that is the case, I would also say to check out pile number 2 as well. Also, you have here the celebrator charm, so this can sometimes be related to maybe a family celebration or something like that. It also is the mountain goat, and it shows that the mountain goat is at the bottom of the tower. So there's still quite a lot of knowledge still to be found. You're maybe at the very beginning of this journey, which isn't that exciting to hear, but because you are the mountain goat, this tells me too, though, mountain goats are very good at climbing mountains. They're very good at moving through challenges, and the best way and the best tool that you have to move through the challenge in your life right now is to embrace joy, to embrace a difficult situation, a dark situation, and still find humor out of it. And then lastly here over on family, on particularly this person here, if this feels like a relative or gives you any hints in any way, you have the parrot charm, and the parrot usually represents like you not being able to voice your own thoughts or wanting to parrot or do the same thing that a parent would do even. So it could also be that you're wanting to make sure you don't follow in the same footsteps, or that you're voicing your thoughts towards this person if they are kind of restricting or making you feel insecure about the situation. So overall, those are all of the charms and cards that I have here for you, Group 3. I hope that this has been useful and helpful in navigating how you can rebel in your life through joy. If you did enjoy this reading, definitely be sure to give this video a like, and let me know in the comments down below if you'd like me to use this deck for more deep dives like this in the future, or if you have specific decks you want me to work with, let me know. Also, if you want to see more of these Magick card readings, I put out new readings every single Monday that you can check out already on the channel, or feel free to subscribe if you haven't already to see more as they come out. And when I get the time, I like to sprinkle in educational videos on art magic and charm casting, so feel free to stay tuned for those as well. And if you want to rebel even further, I have the perfect option for you for Pride Month. So if you are within the LGBTQIA+ community, or you are supporting someone within the community, then definitely feel free to check out the crochet earrings that I create for you to show off your colors, your specific flag, or if you want to support someone in your life through wearing them with a rainbow or wearing their colors in some way, you can do that as well. So feel free to check those out down below. I put a lot of time, care, and consideration and love into these, so definitely feel free to check them out, because I hope that they can open conversations with family members or to open doors and avenues to be your most authentic self. So feel free to check those out down below if that's something you're interested in, and message me if you want more information. But I'm going to go ahead and close off this reading. Thank you so much for being here with me today, Quiet Rebel, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.